Koreans and Indians are relatives to each other. Hello everyone, this is Gaya and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about the reason why the relationship between India and Korea is especially special. When the movie Life of Pi was released in Korea, a lot of Koreans, including me, my friends, were really shocked to see a scene in that movie. And when all of the people came out of the cinema after the movie, we talked about did you hear him saying 엄마 and 아빠? And in Korean, it is exactly the same. I call my mom 엄마 and my father 아빠, like mother and father, mom and dad. And some of you guys might say in English, it is mother and father, M and F or P sound. 엄마, 아빠, mother, father. Yeah, that is what I just felt at first. But how about nation is called 나라 and Nadu. The grass where you play soccer is 풀. In Tamil is 풀. And grasshopper in Korean is 메뚜기. And grasshopper in Tamil is 메뚜구디. Can you believe that? It is like grasshopper. It is not about mom and dad. It can be similar because it happens often in other languages too. Reason 1,000 years ago, the princess of India came to Korea from India's region called Ayodhya and became the queen of Korea. And Koreans annually celebrate that Indian princess. This is the imagined Indian princess, people coming along with her. This is the Korean king, and this is the Indian princess. We imagine it, and we celebrate it in Korea like that. She's wearing her sari, Indian people with Korean people, and celebrated the princess of India coming to Korea. And it is a really actual history. Gimhae City celebrates the Indian princess coming to Korea every year. This is my personal opinion, but it is still my reasonable guess. And many Koreans also expect that historical thing to happen in this way. So it is the princess who came to Korea. So imagine, if a princess comes to Korea, she would bring at least thousands of her people. If you just simply think, do you think a princess would just come to Korea by her own? It is not possible. Going to other country to get married, and it is going to be a forever departure from India, probably. So when she came to Korea, I think she would have brought more than thousands of Indian people to Korea. And that people would interact with Korean people in Korea, and some of them might get married to each other. They would interact, and of course their language is so different, so they would have to teach their own language to each other. And since the Tamil language has the longer history than Korean, they would have more developed language system. So this is my imagination. So imagine this kind of situation so there is Princess Ho and there is King Kim-suro, the Korean king. They are interacting to each other. So they are walking along the riverside. And Princess Ho would say 강 like that, which means river. And the king would say 강 like that. There was a grasshopper on the grass. And the Princess Ho would say 메뚜구디, 풀 like that. So 메뚜구디 is grasshopper and 풀 is grass. And the king was also he might have also had his own word of referring to that kind of objects, but he might have also learned from her, got influence from her own Tamil language. So he would also call that 메뚜기. And the grass, 풀. Situation I just imagine from that two people can really say that some Koreans are descendants of India, and I think I can also say Koreans and Indians are relatives to each other. I think we are really actually relatives. So I was so excited to know this, so I really had to tell this to you guys.
Do you guys know that 22.2% Koreans are Indians' relatives?
Wow.
Let's talk about the first international couple, how they could communicate, and what is their real story, and what is the new happening because of them between South Korea and India recently. By the way, I know that only intellectual and brilliant people will be interested in this history and knowledge and will finish watching this video. Otherwise, they are gonna just turn off this video and just run away. Okay, before starting to talk about it, let me ask you one thing. Have you ever heard about that Indian queen Hwangok and Korean king Kim got married in the past? Never? You did? Okay then. You may have heard about that. There is the similarity between Tamil and Korean languages.
Father, 아빠.
Tamil, Appa.
Mother, 엄마.
Amma.
엄마?
Amma.
진짜.
Amma.
Me. Me는 나.
Na.
타미로.
Tamil.
아, 타미로로.
Tamil, na. Ni.
Fight. Fight 싸우다.
Ah.
In Tamil, 싸우다.
In Tamil, Sauda.
Grass full.
메뚜기.
It's so same.
지금 들으신 단어들은 한국어가 아닌 타밀어입니다.
So we're doing a very interesting video today. I had no idea how many words were in common between Korean and Tamil.
Neither did we.
Yeah.
인도의 유명한 영화 라이프 오브 파이의 일부분입니다.
엄마, 아빠, 언니, 아버지, 쌀, 난, 니바, 링게와, 링게바, 잠깐, 풀, 번뇌, 쌀, 날, 나르.
So, how could it be possible? How? To know about the reason, we need to take a look at the old history about Hwangok and Kimsro's love story. Yeah, love story. By the way, I think most of you guys don't know when it was happened and how they could communicate and get married. Yeah, are you afraid to learn us history? Don't worry. I hadn't liked to learn and study history before when I was young. That's why I researched this story in detail and I'm gonna try to explain it to you guys. The story was in AD 42 and the king Kimsro found a nation that is Gaya. And after 6 years, they met and got married. By the way, what does Gaya mean? What is that? It means fishy in Dravidian languages. When Hwangok arrived to Gaya country, she brought lots of jewels and she was with 20 servants. Wow, lots of jewels. Wow, it's awesome. By the way, Hwangok means gold bead in Chinese word. But suddenly I got curious how they could communicate. How? Would it be possible? Don't you wonder about it? So I also researched about it. Simply talking to you, there is one big assumption, that is, Kimsro could speak the Chinese language at the time because there were lots of trading between China and Korea, and also Hwangok could speak the Chinese language too because she came to Gaya through the China after a long journey. According to the memorabilia of the Three Kingdoms historical record, that is the collection of legends in AD 1st century, Kimsro's servant had asked him to get married, but he said,
"Heaven has sent me here. That's why it will send me the right person again."
A few moments later,
the right person, Hwangok, appeared who the heaven sent, and she said like this clearly,
I'm a princess from Ayutthaya, and my first name is Hwangok, and my family name is Hall, and I'm 16 years old.
And then they got married and had 10 sons, and 12 of them could have family name of her. You know, most people take father's family name, but Kimsro let 2 sons have it. By the way, where is Ayutthaya exactly? The most reasonable assumption is that Ayutthaya is Ayodhya in India. In Ayodhya and Hwangok and Kimsro's graves, there are mirrors that 2 fishes are facing each other. And Indians have hollowed these mirrors so far. Because of those historical reasons, the government of South Korea and India have set up a sisterhood relationship. That's really amazing, isn't it?
Oh my God!
Furthermore, we have a new road festival of Hwangok. That's why Indian high-ranking government officials have been interested in this history and festival. And one more amazing thing, do you know Narendra Modi?
Are you stupid? Of course, they know. They are Indians. Oh.
Okay, anyway, Modi Prime Minister talked about Hwangok when Korean President Moon Jae-in visited India in 2018. This real story could be a bridgehead of South Korea and India's relationship. By the way, as I already talked to you guys at the beginning of this video, 22.2% of Korean.
I was very moved because at last I saw my grandmother 2,000 years ago. I'm the direct descendant of King Kim Suro and Queen Ho Hwang-ho. She must be Tamil.
முதலாக உலகத்திலே பேசின மொழி வந்து தமிழ் மொழி தான். இது வந்து சயின்டிஃபிக் வேல வந்து ப்ரூஃப் ஆயிப்போச்சு. இது என்ன பண்றாங்க எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்துட்டு அது
of 3,200-year-old civilization in Tamil Nadu has been found, and the Chief Minister said that India's history should begin, and it has actually begun from Tamil Nadu.
Along this river Thamirai Parani in southern Tamil Nadu possibly thrived an ancient Purunai civilization 3,200 years ago in 1155 BCE. That's the latest evidence coming through scientific carbon dating by a US-based lab that examined grains of rice and husk found in an urn excavated on the banks of this only perennial river in the state.
துணைக்கண்டத்தின் வரலாறு இனி தமிழ் நிலப்பரப்பில் இருந்துதான் தொடங்கி எழுத வேண்டும் என்பத சான்றுகளின் அடிப்படையில் அறிவியல் வழிநின்று நிலவுவதே நமது அரசினுடைய தலையாய கடமை.
Sangam literature already talks about a port here at Kurkai that flourished in trade and culture.
Tamil has got its own civilization. This civilization is as ancient as Indus Valley civilization. Earlier it was believed that it is not as well as it was portrayed, but it has been now established through scientific process.
Indus Valley civilization is at least 5,000 years old. Tamil language has already been declared a classical language. Historians say the latest scientific evidence further establishes Tamil civilization's antiquity.
We have had plenty of literary evidences in terms of the Sangam poetry that very clearly describe how advanced regions such as Korkai, Kaveri Pumpattinam and other places were. These findings are now only buttressing those valuable treatises.
The state government will also set up an archaeological museum in Tirunelveli besides expanding its search for Tamil roots overseas. Politically, this Tamil milestone a shot in the arm for first-time Chief Minister M.K. Stalin. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, Find Your TV.